Good morning or good afternoon, football fans. Big Al here on this Thursday, August 31st, 2023. And we are just hours away from the first full weekend, rather, in college football. There are a multitude of games that will be played over the next 5 days, including tonight. We've got 11 games tonight. We got another 6 on Saturday. You've got your full slate on. Make that 11 games tonight. You've got 6 games on Friday, which is tomorrow. Then you've got your full Saturday slate. Then you have 5 more games on Sunday. And we got another game on Labor Day to wrap up the week. So without further ado, let's jump into the week 1 college football schedule and all the announcers for every game. And we're going to start off with tonight's schedule. Here on this Thursday, August 31st, there are 4 games starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. On FS1, you've got Kent State at UCF, Eric Collins and Devin Gardner. Then you have Elon at Wake Forest on the ACC network with Drew Carter and Dustin Fox. And then you have 2 games streaming exclusively on ESPN+. Rhode Island at Georgia State has no announced team, while St. Francis, Pennsylvania at Western Michigan, that game will be called by Dan Guskowski and Marcus Ray. At 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on CBS Sports Network is NC State at Connecticut, Ed Cohen and Christian Fourier. At 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Fox, it's Nebraska at Minnesota, Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt. And this is one of 5 games starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. On ESPN, it's Florida at number 14 Utah with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. On the SEC network, you have South Dakota at Missouri, Clay Matvick and Aaron Murray. And then you have 2 games streaming on ESPN Plus at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Arkansas Pine Bluff at Tulsa with James Wessling and Legard DeZubel. Or rather, Legard DeZubel. Also on ESPN Plus is NC or North Carolina A&T at UAB. Sorry. With Richard Cross and Taylor Mahargway. Final game tonight is at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on the Pac-12 network. Southern Utah at Arizona State. No broadcast team has been named. Then we'll go to the 6th game schedule on Friday, September 1st. The night kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN+. Howard at Eastern Michigan, Jalen Barbar, and Ryan Kavanaugh. Then you have a couple games starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Friday. Central Michigan at Michigan State is on FS1 with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman. While Miami of Ohio at Miami, Florida is on ACC Network with Jay Alter and Renee Ingogila. At 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN, Louisville faces off with Georgia Tech. They're playing in Atlanta. I'm assuming they're playing this game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Anish Sharaff and Adam Ware, or rather Andre Ware. At 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on ESPN Plus is Missouri State at Kansas. Chucky Kemp and Amon Green. Final game of the night on Friday is at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific on CBS Sports Network. Stanford at Hawaii. Dave Ryan and Robert Turbin. And that brings us to the first full Saturday of the college football season, and that's Saturday, September 2nd. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games starting at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. On ABC is Virginia and number 12 Tennessee from Nissan Stadium in Nashville with Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer. On Fox's Big Noon Saturday, Deion Sanders makes his coaching debut for Colorado as they visit number 17 TCU, Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt. On ESPN is Arkansas State at number 20 Oklahoma, Roy Philpott and Roddy Jones. On FS1, Utah State at number 25 Iowa, Jeff Levering and Mark Helfrich. On ESPNU is Louisiana Tech at Southern Methodist or SMU, Brian Custer and Rod Gilmore. On the SEC Network, Ball State at Kentucky, Dave Neal and Derek Mason. On BTN is Fresno State at Purdue, Corey Provis and Jake Butt. On ACC Network, Northern Illinois at Boston College, Chris Cotter and Mark Herzlich. On CBS Sports Network, Bowling Green at Liberty, Chick Hernandez and Taylor Mahargway. It's streaming exclusively on Peacock at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, is East Carolina at number 2 Michigan with Mike Tirico and Chris Sims. At 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus and SEC Network Plus is Western Carolina at Arkansas, but this game is being played in Little Rock with Eric Freedy and Jordan Reed. Also at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on Altitude Sports and the Mountain West Conference digital platform is Robert Morris at Air Force, Vic Lombardi and Ted Sundquist. At 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, on ESPN Plus and the SEC Network Plus is Mercer at number 22 Ole Miss, Justin Kutcher and Dave Steckel. And then you have 3 games streaming on ESPN Plus at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, or rather 3 additional games. Akron at Temple is Bill Spalding and Stanford Rout. Long Island at Ohio is Michael Reggie and Gerard Cherry. Northern Iowa at Iowa State is Sean Kenny and Todd Doxson. At 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on the Pac-12 network is Portland State at number 15 Oregon, Roxy Bernstein and Lincoln Kennedy. And that brings us to the late afternoon portion of Saturday's schedule with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games beginning at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. And all 4 major regional, or not regional sports networks, but all 4 major over-the-air broadcast networks will be having a game on at this time. Boise State at number 10 Washington is on ABC with Bob Wischusen and Robert Griffin III. Number 3 Ohio State at Indiana is on CBS with Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. Rice at number 11 Texas is on Fox with Jason Benetti and Brock Heward. And then Tennessee State at number 13 Notre Dame is on NBC with Paul Burmeister and Jason Garrett. On ESPN is Massachusetts at Auburn, Beth Mowins and Kurt Morrison. On FS1 is Buffalo at number 19 Wisconsin Eric Collins and Devin Gardner. On BTN is Towson at Maryland, Joe Benetti and Anthony Herron. On the ACC network, Wofford at Pittsburgh, Mike Monaco and Forrest Connolly. On CBS Sports Network, South Florida at Western Kentucky, Alex Del Barrio and Malik Zaire. And then you have two games at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ESPN+. Eastern Kentucky and Cincinnati is Noah Reed and Ryan Leaf, while Gardner Webb at Appalachian State has no broadcast team announced. Then you have four more games starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. On ESPNU is California at North Texas, Courtney Lau and Hudson Mason. On the SEC network, Southeast Louisiana at Mississippi State, Taylor Zarzar and Matt Stinchcomb. On ESPN Plus and ACC Network Extra is Colgate at Syracuse, George Sedano and Orlando Franklin. Next up at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Silver State Sports and the Mountain West Conference digital platform is Bryant at UNLV, and there is no broadcast team announced for this one. Then you got a host of games at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 in total. UT Martin at the two-time defending national champs, the number one Georgia Bulldogs, is on ESPN Plus and SEC Network Plus with Clay Matvick and Aaron Murray. And then the other 5 games are all streaming on ESPN Plus. Monmouth at Florida Atlantic will be called by Ted Emmerich and Legard Duzable, while South Carolina State at Charlotte will be called by James Westling and Jay Sonhalter. You have no broadcast teams named for Albany at Marshall, Bucknell at James Madison, and the Citadel at Georgia Southern. At 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific on the Pac-12 network is Nevada at number 6 USC, Ted Robinson and Yogi Roth. Also at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on ESPN Plus is Maine at Florida International, and there's no broadcast team announced for this one. All right, that brings us to the early evening portion of the Saturday slate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got 11 games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and another 5 at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Starting off with the 7 p.m. games first up. On ESPN is New Mexico at number 23 Texas A&M, Mark Jones, Lewis Riddick, and Quint Kessenich. On FS1 is UTSA at Houston, Chris Myers and Robert Smith. On ESPN Plus and SEC Network Plus is Alabama A&M at Vanderbilt, Richard Cross and Barrett Brooks. On CBS Sports Network, Washington State at Colorado State, Carter Blackburn and Randy Cross. On the NFL Network is Army at Louisiana Monroe, Doug Sherman and Teoka Jackson. And the remaining 6 games are all streaming on ESPN Plus at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Southeast Missouri State at number 16 Kansas State will be called by Mark Neely and Adam Brenneman. Then you've got Central Arkansas at Oklahoma State, which is Matt Schumacher and Brad Hopkins. You also have Texas State at Baylor with Peter Sousa and LaDarren McClain. And then Bethune-Cookman at Memphis. That game will be called by Anthony Simone and Doc Holliday. And then the other two teams have no broadcast teams. Those two games are Elkhorn State at Southern Miss and Stephen F. Austin at Troy. Now we can get into the 7:30 games on Saturday night. On ABC's Saturday Night Football, it's number 21 North Carolina versus South Carolina. They're playing this game at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. This game will be called by Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy. On CBS is Texas Tech at Wyoming, Rich Waltz and Aaron Taylor. On NBC, West Virginia at number 8 Penn State, or rather number 6 Penn State. Noah Eagle and Todd Blackledge. On the SEC network is Middle Tennessee at number 4 Alabama. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelic. On BTN is Toledo at Illinois. Mark Followell and Matt Millen. At 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on ESPNU is South Alabama at number 24 Tulane. John Schifrin and Rocky Boyman. On the ACC network is Old Dominion at Virginia Tech. Wes Durham and Tim Hasselbeck. Streaming on ESPN Plus at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific is Northwestern State at Louisiana. There is no broadcast team announced for this game or for the other two games on ESPN Plus at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. That includes Incarnate Word at UTEP and Western Illinois at New Mexico State. At 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on the Pac-12 network, Northern Arizona at Arizona. J.B. Long and Max Brown. At 10:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Pacific on FS1, Sam Houston State at BYU. Alex Faust and Petros Papadakis. At 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN is Coastal Carolina at UCLA, Dave Fleming and Brock Osweiler. And on CBS Sports Network is Idaho State at San Diego State with Michael Grady and Dante Whitner. And those two are the final games of the night on Saturday. That jumps us over to Sunday, September 3rd, where you've got Northwestern at Rutgers at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on CBS with Tom McCarthy and Jason McCourty. At 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific on ESPN is Jackson State versus Florida A&M in Miami. Tiffany Green and Jay Walker. At 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on CBS, number 18 Oregon State at San Jose State. Chris Lewis and Ross Tucker. At 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on ESPNU is Fort Valley State versus Tuskegee. Jason Ross Jr. and Charles Arbuckle. And the final game on Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC is a top 10 battle with number 5 LSU taking on number 8 Florida State. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. Final game of the week is on Labor Day, Monday, September 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. And that's number 9 Clemson at Duke. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, and Tom Luganville. And that is the entire week 1 college football schedule and every announcer for every game. All right, so we are getting closer and closer to the NFL season, and it all starts next Thursday. So coming up here next Wednesday, I will be making my week 1 NFL picks, both straight up and against the spread. Plus all these maps for the Sunday afternoon games and all the announcers for each game. So make sure you be on the lookout for that. And I'll be unveiling my week 1 power rankings on Tuesday. So join me for that. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching also. And enjoy the pigskin this weekend. College football's back, folks. Peace out.